5 months ago, we bought the rarest, smallest, coolest, and most Japanese street legal sport bike ever made, the Yamaha YSR 80. It did the coolest motorcycle stuff and then some. This thing lasted nearly 30 years in Japan, but couldn't make it more than 30 minutes with me, leaving me along the highway with a blown up motor. This was not the way this little Japanese warrior wanted to die. Not like this, not on the highway, going to get a $1.50 Costco hot dog, which we did anyway, and it was awesome. And reading them right now as we speak. This is a race bike. The YSR is a little tiny samurai warrior. This thing was made to fight. This bike has already stood the test of time, 30 years. We could not let it die like this. We could not let it die like the Chinese bike that we covered in gum and then threw in a dumpster. So our mechanic Craig took the motor out and took it apart to find out what was wrong. And what he found was that there was a hole in the piston where there should not have been a hole. And it blew the piston material into the bottom end of the engine, so we needed a whole new engine. We considered putting a 4-stroke 190 motor in it, but ended up choosing the 2-stroke route. The motor we replaced it with was a rebuilt Yamaha YZ80 motor, which should have more power and rev higher than the motor that it came with. Not only is this bike better than ever, but it's also better than everything. And to prove that, we're gonna take it up against a bunch of other motorcycles. And if it loses, we have to sell this thing on eBay, $1 starting bid, no reserve. If it wins, it gets to stay in the Bikes and Beards stable. Maybe we'll modify it, maybe we'll use it again. And first things first, if this thing is a true warrior, it's gotta be quick. And since I'm an idiot and said this thing was quicker than everything, we're gonna run this thing up against a Yamaha R6. And the R6 beat it. The Indian crushed it. The 250 CBR blew it away. And it was even beat by the electric bike. So here's the problem. We need to compare the bike to something in its class, something in its same category. And I don't have anything like that. So let's check out we're gonna check out the local Yamaha dealership and see what they got. You see, I mean, all these bikes are they're just giant, monster machines. We gotta figure out what the smallest one they have is. Hey, I'm looking for something small, like a smaller bike. What you got?
I got this row. That's all I got during COVID right now. MT-07, usually we have MT-03s.
Well, this thing is ginormous.
And then you're not gonna like the MT-09. Full Sport, 350.
That is huge. Quite possibly the largest bike I've ever seen in my life.
Duke 200 is the smallest I got.
This is the smallest thing you got?
Oh yeah.
Could you pick this up by yourself? How much does this one weigh? 400 pounds?
Nah, I'm gonna say like 300, 350.
How do you hide this thing from your wife?
Find a cover in the garage. Backyard, shed.
It's much too big. We need something half this size.
Half this size?
You got anything like that? Like, do you have a Duke 100?
No, it's nothing that small.
You're never hiding this thing from anybody. Even the 400-pound sport bikes. This thing is so huge. Biggest bike ever. This is one of the reasons why the Yamaha YSR is the most perfect motorcycle, because you can hide it anywhere from anybody. Hey Rachel, let me show you this new couch I got.
Sonny, what's that?
Oh, that's nothing. It's a little smudge. Now I know exactly what you guys were thinking, and I've been thinking the same thing. Can I ride this bike underneath the tractor trailer? If there's any shot to do it, it's gonna be this bike. Let's put that question to rest. I'm gonna call that a kind of, like maybe. So here's the problem. Even though this is a street legal bike, it's kind of a loophole street legal bike. It's not really great at riding on long trips. The acceleration is, not that great. It can hide in the side of a couch like a boss. But this thing was made for one place and one place only, the track. But not just any track, Sandy Hook Speedway, a little track for go-karts and mini MotoGP. The perfect track for this motorcycle. And just so you think I'm not gonna rig this thing, so I get to keep this and not sell it on eBay for starting bid at $1 with no reserve because I'm actually kind of falling in love with the bike. We're gonna run it against the most dominant track vehicle on the planet, the Aerial Atom. All right, well, we were gonna run it against the Aerial Atom. They wouldn't let us. As soon as I said, can I run this car on the track? They called up the insurance company. The insurance company says, there's no possible way you'll ever be able to run this car on the track. You need like runoffs and gates and all this stuff. So we decided to run it against the second most track dominant vehicle on the planet, the Yamaha R6. And to make things even more exciting, I probably should not wreck that bike. The track's also wet and it's probably gonna rain. So it should be a good day. So before we got it on the track, it was running okay, but not great. And just so happens that the owner of the track is a big fan of these things and has a couple of them himself. So I let him check it out. He realized that there's something wrong with it.
And the float's sticking because it got fuel dripping out that was there before I pulled the bowl off.
Oh yeah.
The overflow was dripping. So you were getting like a lot of hunks of dirt like that.
Even though it was not running at its full potential, the race must go on. But while I was doing my first warm-up lap, it's too slick. So I found out the hard way that the track was slicker than I thought, and just when I was about to throw in the towel, I realized the YSR never gave up on me. Well, except when the engine blew up. But other than that, it never gave up on me, and I'm not gonna give up on it.
All right, now you might be wondering, well, Sean, aren't you incentivized to lose with this bike? Well, not really, because pride-wise, I can't really, how can I go back home and have a motorcycle channel where I show people that I lost off on this to that bike that's barely running right? My strategy for this bike, I'm gonna keep this thing in third gear most of the time. I'm gonna make up almost all my time on that big bank turn, and I'm gonna honestly keep it fairly slow and try to keep this bike upright, because this bike has 800 miles on it and we got a lot of money in this bike and I don't want to mess it up.
All right, so we're back. I don't know where that fake applause is coming from, but I'm sure you guys are dying to hear what the times are for both these bikes to see what happens. I'll just remind you, if this thing loses, I have to put it on eBay, starting at $1 bid with zero reserve. If it sells for $2, I gotta sell for $2. I mean, this really is a David and Goliath type of situation, because this is the Yamaha R6. Awesome, amazing, super fast bike. I got the times right here. So the time for the YSR, 45:21. The time for the Yamaha, which is also very, very handicapped because it was a small track and it was wet and I didn't want to drop the bike, 41:44. It beat it by 3 seconds. I mean, that was, if it was dry, if everything was dry, I think this had a shot, because I could really throw this thing around on that track and I think I could have beat it. And if it was running good, two big issues. This thing was not running properly. I blame my mechanic, Craig. I'm glad Craig's doing better though. And it was wet. But you know what, a deal's a deal. So I don't know what's gonna happen. And I really do like that bike. I guess I can always get another one later in the future. List item. You've listed your item. Let's check it out. Starting bid. And it didn't say, but there's no reserve. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe and check out this video or this video.